Hey folks, at the end of the last Master That Gear video I did, which was on my Classic Player 60 Strat, I mentioned I was going to do a major mod to it. And what I'm actually going to do is replace the body on the guitar. Ideally, it's a lovely vintage vibe, the Sonic Blue, but it's a polyester finish. And I really wanted something with a kind of natural cellulose finish on it, maybe with a little bit of relicking, just to get a little bit more of that kind of vintage vibe. Plus, if it was in surf green, which is a lovely colour, ideal, that's what I kind of wanted. So I managed to get that body from MJT guitars in the States, or MJT Age Finishes. Just won an auction on eBay. So I've got a lovely surf green relict natural finish body that I'm going to swap the old one for. But what I thought I'd do is just make this video of me going through the steps, put it together, because there's a couple of little things that I'm going to do, and then do a little kind of comparison at the end. I had a jam over a backing track when I did the last Master That Gear video. So what I'm going to do is jam over the same backing track but with the new bodied guitar, and then we can actually listen to see if there's any difference. I'm not going to say, anything afterwards. It's up to you to have a listen to see if you can hear anything. So let's get stuck in. Let me go through the steps and we'll piece together the new guitar. So we go, here's the body, put it on this nice roll and go baby changer. So I like to roll. First thing I'm going to do is basically put the new bridge on now, because obviously the Classic Player 60 had a 2-point trem on it. Rather than drilling new holes and stuff, I decided just to source a new bridge, and what I've done is basically gone for a Callaham bridge. So this is a nice vintage style one, and it's a narrow string spacing as well, just to match the one I'm actually replacing. And I got this from Charles Guitars. Again, I'll put the website link up so you can check it out. So this is nice. It's been kind of aged a little bit. So I'm not going like fully kind of crazy relic here, but this is being de-shined, as it's called, and you can see there's a little kind of wearing, kind of been rubbing on it, so it's a little bit weird looking. Not rusted, but not shiny chrome, which I didn't want. So there's a nice steel block in this, and you can see there's some extra details that you get in the Callaham trends, like for the screw posts and stuff for the movement of the trim. So they are really highly regarded. That's why I wanted to go for one. So it'll be interesting to see, and one of the main reasons I'm doing this video obviously is when I put all this together, just to see how it compares to what the guitar was like before. But I know I've got a nice high quality trim here, and of course I've got all the rest of the bits and stuff here. So that's the first thing I'll do. I'll get this installed. Obviously I've got no holes for the claw at the back, so I'll need to drill the holes for the claw and then screw that down. So let's get that done. Okay, so first little snag, I installed the Callaham bridge. As you can see, the distance from the back of that to the steel block is about that. And this MJT body here, there's a little lip in there. Basically the trim didn't have any down travel, so I'm going to have to remove a little bit this lip here, so I can get a little more travel on the trim. So wish me luck. Hopefully this should be okay, and we'll fix it, get a little bit more downward travel. There we go, that's the trim. It's got a little bit more downward travel now. So I've just got one spring at the back. Obviously I don't want to damage the finish here, put too many springs in it with no string tension. The only thing I need to change is this here. So the Callaham trim, it's got a white trim arm button on it, and I've basically got some aged white ones here, basically from what was it, Drum and Monkey Music. What was it again? Rattle and Drum Music. So again, I'll put a wee link up for that. But it's basically just to change so it matches the rest of the plastic hardware. Okay, next thing, I'm going to put the jack socket cup on. Again, I'll need to drill holes for this. But this is the first time I'm going to have to use new screws. Instead of using the existing screws from the Mexican Strat that I've got, the Classic Player, I've got some of these relic ones here. As you can see, it's from Guitars Electric Co. UK. Got these off eBay actually. And I don't know if that's showing up, but there are some nice rusty screws in there, just to add to kind of the kind of slight relic vibe. As I said, I'm not going to go and get a new scratch plate or aged plastic knobs or anything like worn relic plastic knobs. I'm just going to use the existing stuff. I don't need to any spend any more than I need to basically. But I thought changing the screws might be a little subtle touch to add to kind of the vintage vibe. So I'll start using these screws, but I'll get this jack socket cup on now. Okay, so I've drilled the holes here. What I'm going to do actually is leave the installation of this until the end. It's just probably much easier to, rather taking the wires off the pots, it's easier to take the wires off the jack socket and wire it back up. So I've got the holes drilled, but I'll put this on once I've got the scratch plate kind of sorted. Okay, so I've removed the scratch plate from the old guitar. Nice and simple, just drop in. But one mod I'm going to do is put on this aluminium plate on the back to help with some shielding. So again, I got this from Charles Guitars. This is a Callaham bit kit again. Just nice aluminium plate. You can see they've got different screw holes there depending on you know, your screw holes on your your plate here. So this one's the kind of late 50s, early 60s thing with the screw hole. So I'll do that, take all the gubbins off, put the aluminium plate in the back, and I'll also change these screws for the vintage screws that I've got as well. There we go. There's a wee bit of work to get all them off, but you can see you've got the edge screws in there, and it totally changes the vibe. And obviously I've got the aluminium plate in the back now as well, which should hopefully definitely remove any kind of little static noises of the plate, but should hopefully help a little bit with the shielding. Okay, so on to the next thing. So there we go, that's the scratch plate back on with our relic nickel screws. Look pretty good. So all I need to do now is just wire the jack socket on and get the earth soldered at the back and the claw, and then of course we'll get the neck on, and then string it up and hopefully get a listen to hear what it sounds like. Okay, here it is, all completed. I think it's looking pretty awesome actually. Just love this colour, surf green, and particularly the kind of relic look we've got here. It's a little bit kind of yellow around the edges and stuff. It's hard to pick up on a camera, but this looks pretty awesome in person. So what I've done is I've actually restrung this with the same strings that were on it. I used Diodario NYXL strings, so they're tough enough to do that. I can actually restring and they're perfectly fine. Pickup height, action, everything is exactly the same as it was on the previous kind of bodied guitar with the twin point trim. Obviously the only thing that's different now really is the body in this trim. Everything else is basically kind of set up the same pickups and pickguard, everything. So what I want to do is using exactly the same kind of amp settings. So I've not changed the amp settings, pedal settings, everything's the same. Just jam over the same backing track I did for the demo of the Sonic Blue classic player, and just compare just to see if there's actually any kind of difference sound wise. I think so. Let's do that now. I'll pop on the backing track and have a kind of a quick jam over it. We'll see what tones we get.